My name is Richard Hassell. I'm a founding director of WOHA Architects. We're based in Singapore and we have an office of around 80 people. Our work is a mix of different types, high-rise, low-rise, residential, hospitality, transport, educational, institutional. Architecture is really, I guess it's the way we're making our new world. And so for that reason we think it's really important, because as more and more of the world urbanizes and moves to the cities, actually we spend our whole lives in architecture. And I think we have a responsibility to try and make that environment as diverse and beautiful and challenging and interesting as we can. I think architects are interesting because we have a kind of a very broad sort of professional gamut that we work within, and I think what's happened over many years is people have become more and more specialized, and architects as generalists are really important in the way that they need to integrate different domains of knowledge and different spheres. So I think I see architects as sort of generalists who really have this role of imagining how things come together and negotiating all the different conflicts between these specialists. For us, innovation is quite a sort of common topic that we talk about. In each project we actually ask ourselves the question quite explicitly, you know, what's the innovation in this project, what are we trying to do? We do think innovation is important because if we're not changing, making things better, I don't think we have control of our future. And so really, as designers, I think we're imagining the future, and that necessarily involves innovation. So to us it's a core value in what we do. Networking, we don't consciously network, I think, but of course as social beings we are embedded in a network. So we've actually had quite an organic network of contacts and consultants and clients that have led one project to another. We've actually never really found marketing or cold calling or any kind of that activity has ever resulted for us in a project. It's been more about, I think, us putting our work out there, and you get certain people who really respond to the work who then make contact with you. But never this kind of going around shaking hands, introducing ourselves. It doesn't result in anything. For us, the internet has become, I guess, the most fantastic library, resource. I think the way we operate with images, for instance, is so different now. I think you know, it used to be that you had a few favorite pictures in a book that you would refer to. Now with Google Images, just typing in a word and having all these images come up, it allows you to operate, I think, very visually, and clients are more visually literate, we're more visually literate, so this sort of exchange of visual information, I think, is wholly dependent really on the internet. And I think for any other kind of thing that you're interested in, for defining state of the art, for instance, if you're interested in who's been using solar chimneys or wind towers, you can just get what's been happening on that immediately. So I think it's been a massive engine for different kinds of literacy and for keeping people really up to date and for driving innovation, because you can see that idea you had, 10 people have already sort of been operating on it, and then you can think, well, how do I push it even further than they've done it? I guess as architects, as generalists, for me the most important thing is someone who's really curious and you follow up lines of interest and get somewhere to it. I think I see a lot of browsing nowadays with students, but they don't make that commitment to move from a line of interest to developing it into an architectural strategy and then actually pushing it into a resolved design. So I think my advice yeah, would be to sort of follow a line through, but learn how to actually use it and end up with some sort of useful action at the end of it. Actually, early on in our practice, somebody told me that Glenn Murcutt's father had actually said to them that the compromises you make on this project will be the highest standard you achieve on the next. And for us, that was very sort of like a warning or a call to action that in a way we have to be like the last man standing on a project. That no matter, you know, how much trouble happens, how much the brief changes, the regulations cause problems, the architect really has to be the last man standing, saying this project is about this and this is what's valuable about it. And that tenacity in the end, I think, is what gets you a good building, because every project has disasters happen to it. It's how you turn them into opportunities and how you keep the vision that really makes the difference, I think, between a lot of beautiful schemes on paper and built work that's got some value in it.